Studio. It's the Need to Know Morning Show on AM 1100, The Flag.
8:06, rolling into hour 3 of the Need to Know Morning Show. I guess by now it kind of feels like we're back into the swing of it. I have to admit, Kevin, the first half hour of the show today, I was kind of getting my feet under me again.
Little dragging?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yep.
But it feels like all is good in the world. And when Dr. Zimmerman comes in from the clinic, well, then you know that things are right with the world again.
Dr. Z.
Dr. Z
Good
is
morning.
with us. Yes. Good morning, Dr. Chad. What's going on, man?
Like most people, trying to get back into the swing after the wonderful 4th of July holiday.
Yes. Yeah, good. You did a little fishing?
We did some fishing.
Okay.
Yeah, went out to Lake Ashtabula, and I think I fell in love with another lake.
Okay.
It was a great weekend. Caught a lot of great fish.
Okay, so you didn't just go fishing; you went catching too. That's
right.
I've been fishing many times without much to show for it. So
yeah, we did. We tried a lot of new spots out there, and really came into some nice fish. So
Okay.
I was pretty impressed with that lake. Really.
I'm assuming you were fishing for Waldo.
Oh
Some
yeah,
Waldos?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
We fished for walleye, and we put a big Vex curse around the boat on Northerns usually. So
Nice.
yeah, that's what
Keep
happens.
the
'em out.
snakes away.
that's
Yeah.
right.
What are you using for walleye now? Are you night crawlers, leeches in the summer? What are you using?
I'm a leech guy.
Okay.
Because they stay on the hook better.
Yeah,
you can
right.
get more bites.
Oh, they're tougher than heck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one. We were going to put it on a plaque. We named him El Ocho. There were 8 walleyes caught on the one leech.
Nicely done.
That's a trooper
Yeah,
right
he-
there.
he was-
He was
beast.
a little beat up in the end.
He
but-
was tattered and torn.
Yeah.
But, hey, don't take it off the hook if it's working, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
First rule of fishing: if it's working, don't mess with it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, good stuff. Glad that the weekend was good. This is one of those weekends, though, where there are a lot of people waking up this morning going, "Oh God, I was dragging behind that rope behind the boat, and something doesn't feel quite right." Or maybe they were trying to shift the dock around, and you kind of catch your back a little bit. So you'll be getting some calls today, my friend.
It's always busy after the holiday. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, what are some of the common things you get after the holiday with sort of conversations?
Well, I think people kind of just generally overdo it, and a lot of times there's things that have been going on that they're not feeling, and they overstress things, and then all of a sudden things kind of boil up to the surface. So we've been seeing a lot of disc problems,
Yeah.
in the neck and the lower back lately, and a lot of times they just come out of nowhere, and people they go to bed fine, they wake up the next day and they have horrible pain, can't move their neck, maybe it's shooting down their arm, tingling, numbness, those kinds of things. There's been an awful lot of that lately.
Yeah. I'm one that goes for some longer runs on the weekend. Tell me how a regular visit to the chiropractor can help someone like me with the pounding you get with, your 12, 14-mile runs on the weekend.
That's an awesome question, because what you're doing, we live in a gravity environment, and so whatever we do in a gravity environment results in stresses and strains on the body. And we can have little stresses or we can have big strains, and our body has to heal from it. And the way it does that is by weaving fiber into the area to try to strengthen it up. And over time, that accumulates. It's kind of like the difference between a tender steak and a nasty brisket or something
Yeah.
like that, right? And so if you're an athlete, or you run many miles a week, you're creating impacts and stresses on things such as, patellar tendons and things like that. And they will tighten and thicken over time and eventually start tearing. And so we do a lot of soft tissue work in our office, where we go in and find these areas that feel like they've gotten thick and tight, and oftentimes they're sore, and start working that tissue to soften it, to restore the flexibility, so that when you go out and do the things that you like to do, you're not injuring yourself while you're doing it anymore. Mm-hmm. It's very effective.
Yeah, good point. One of the things that you hear about from people who run quite a bit is they get some tendonitis in their knee, is that patellar tendon that they get that gets kind of sore and inflamed. How can you help take care of that?
I'm going to split a hair here for a quick second. There's tendonitis, which is the acute inflammation associated with an acute injury. And then there's a condition called tendinosis, which really is kind of the thickening of the tendon over time from all that repeated stress. And a lot of times what you're feeling, if you're getting pain, you have tissue that's tearing, literally. it's tearing and it's getting irritated. And so if you take that thickened, more dense tissue, and we have special tools that we use, Graston and Factor tools, where we can gently work on that tissue and gradually soften it back up to improve the flexibility of it so that it can withstand those types of stresses. It works amazing for so many different things, whereas I think most people think, well, I have some pain, and they run to the medicine cabinet and grab some Tylenol or Advil.
Oh, right.
Or something.
That's what we all do, right? We need that ibuprofen. Not living La Vida Loca, living in ibuprofen. That's the new song.
I'm waiting for him to sell cortisone shots over the counter.
We call it vitamin I. More people own a bottle of ibuprofen than they do multivitamins.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Well, that's because most multivitamins, though, are trash, right?
No. Well, I mean,
I've heard that.
It depends what you're describing. It's a lot of the stuff that's over the counter isn't very high quality stuff.
One a day plus iron, whatever.
I mean, there's good vitamins out there, but you have to use reputable companies.
There are. That's true. But those cost a lot more. I've learned
they do. Yep.
Yeah, but sure I do one with GNC has got like a mega male manly whatever, and but it's got a little fish oil thing in there too, but I tell you what, it's like swallowing 3 calf boluses growing up on the farm. These big pills is like, and they taste like horrid. But anyway, why is it true that the true cause of lower back pain doesn't get identified for 10 to 20 years in most cases?
Most lower back pain gets diagnosed as being mechanical, which is kind of a generic term. It just refers to muscles and joints. And the common belief is you just have a weak core, and if you just strengthen that up, your back pain goes away. And that's the wrong emphasis. The emphasis there is on the pain, not necessarily the problem. And a lot of people go through repeated exacerbations of lower back pain, whether it's once a year, twice a year, every month, whatever it is. And they go in and they get treated, they get exercises, they get adjusted. It works for a while, and then it stops working, right? And now you get frustrated, and now they finally send you out for an x-ray or an MRI. Yeah. And then you find out, it's not just mechanical. You've got wear and tear, you've got degeneration, you got a bad disc, it's bulging, it's herniated, whatever it is. And now you're actually finding the cause of what's really going on.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, we don't oftentimes in the profession catch things early enough to be effective and stop the train before it runs off the tracks.
Yeah, makes sense. You talk about this decompressive or decompression therapy, and this is a game changer for a lot of people.
It's an unbelievable tool. When you look at people that have failed medical chiropractic and physical therapy, okay, this is the surgery group. This is the people getting pain injections. Okay, pain injections have never cured a back problem, and they can't because there's no such thing as a cortisone deficiency, right? And so they start living on these things as the problems just get worse and worse. And then, finally it's back surgery time when you don't really need it. Decompression treatment helps treat those discs, and it can retract herniations. It can retract the bulges. It can help get the fluid and nutrients into the disc, which is really the nature of the problem. A damaged disc can't do that.
Yeah.
And so the machine assists that process. It's very comfortable. It takes about 20 minutes. You do that over a course of 4 to 6 weeks, and you can take people that have been suffering, that are looking at the business end of a scalpel and don't want it, and get them back pain-free about 76% of the time.
Sorry, Chad, how often do you do that? I suppose it depends on the severity and the level of pain, but I would imagine like twice a week, every day, depending on what you need.
Yeah, that's a good question. The major stress is gravity, right?
Right.
That's what's squeezing it and pressing all the good stuff out of the discs. And so you want to be semi-aggressive with it. I usually tell people about 3 times a week you want to do that over a course of time. And then once you get to the point where you're not having pain, then we can start spreading things out.
Yeah.
But in general, 76% of people pain-free within 6 weeks.
That's amazing.
Another 21% of people moderate pain reduction over the same time frame. There's literally only 3% of people that don't change.
Yeah. I don't know that I've ever asked you this. And right now you're going, what the heck is he going to do to me here? But you're a pro. You can handle this. When I go to the chiropractor, it doesn't apply to my insurance deductible most of the time. And I've always thought to myself, you're talking about what you're doing right there. Why does chiropractic service not apply to deductibles? It should.
Most of the time it does. And so you and I might want to have a discussion outside of this, because there might be something else going on there. It depends a little bit on your insurance company, but most insurance companies cover chiropractic. Most insurance companies accept those charges towards your deductible.
They do?
Yes.
Yeah,
Why am
ours
I
does.
looking at my thing and it says
I don't know.
you get this provider discount?
I have an idea, but like I said, I think maybe we should exchange a couple of emails or something. Let me ask you a couple different
Here
questions.
we go. Let's go.
Sign me up for you should start selling insurance then. And
I mean, it may be that your provider doesn't accept that insurance or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll have to talk about this then. So this decompression therapy, is it really expensive to do?
It used to cost several $1,000s for people to go through a program of decompression therapy. 15, 20 years ago, the machines were $80,000 to $150,000 machines. And so there was some costs associated with it. The price has dropped significantly because the equipment has gotten to be better and less expensive. And so it's not horribly expensive. It's like $70 a treatment, is it?
Really?
Yeah.
And I do this a few times and I feel better?
It depends
Yeah.
on the nature of things. But, I have people every week that come in, haven't had relief in years. They have just a couple treatments, and it's the best they've felt in 10 or 20 years.
Oh, man.
Chad, is this the table where you land and it works down, pushing up and down at the same time, kind of a deal? Or
No, it's very different than that. It actually uses traction forces, and so you get put on the machine. You're kind of strapped in. That sounds terrible, but it's not uncomfortable.
Right.
And the machine provides a gentle pull at a certain amount of pressure and at a certain angle that helps us target the bad disc areas.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, Dr. Chad, if people want to find out more about what you've got going on, how do they get a hold of you?
Many ways, but the easiest is just to give us a call, 492-0696, or find us online.
Yeah.
It is the 21st century.
Yes.
And you can go to theclinicnow.com and find us there.
theclinicnow.com. Very good. Dr. Chad from the Clinic Family Health and Sports Chiropractic. Always good to visit with you, my friend. Thanks for the time.
You bet.
All right, when we come back on the Need to Know Morning Show, a story that I think is really cool.